What is up, everybody? My name is Viola. I'm the host of the Cerebral System here on YouTube, on obviously the TransenDID channel. On my channel, we discuss DID topics, mental health topics, various LGBT sort of things. We do vlogs, gaming. It's a very varied channel, and it's going to keep getting more varied because I like doing different things. All that aside, today we're going to talk about Innerworlds. What an Innerworld is, what exactly the rules of an Innerworld are, what can be in it, and generally, just what an Innerworld is in general, I guess you could say. Sorry, I'm a broken record, what can I say? I repeat a lot. I don't know if you guys can hear that, there's a plane above us and it's really loud. Alright. So I have this page up from Dissociative Life, which is actually, ourdissociativelife.com, which is a very helpful page. Posted on November 25th, 2018 by Izzy Constant. The copacetic system. I like that. Copacetic. Nice. Alright. In patients with DID, it's common for an inner world to exist. This is often a place that is known to be where the alters live out their own personal lives, whereas in the external world, they are living in life of the body, or host, or hosts. Me. What is an inner world? Inner worlds and what they look like vary greatly. Some systems with dissociative identity disorder, DID, don't have inner worlds at all. That's valid too. If you don't have an inner world, hey, no one, doesn't mean you don't have DID, it just means you don't have an inner world. Systems with an inner world describe them as a place that alters live and interact with one another. Inner worlds can be complex with different sections, one simple room, or not exist at all. System inner worlds are not real per se, but to alters who live there, the inner world feels just as real, and in some cases more real, than the external world, i.e. where I am right now. Some inner worlds have complex workings and structures, while others just provide a space for an other to control the body, and for another other to wait for control. A more elaborate inner world does not have any correlation to trauma endured or size of the system as far as anyone can tell. See, that's why I was really confused when I was like, why do certain things exist in my system? Is it to do with trauma? We don't know. In fact, there isn't a lot known of inner worlds except that they vary greatly and they can exist. Sorry, my nose is doing weird stuff. Can what the inner world look like change? Inner worlds are malleable for many systems. Some systems can change their inner worlds, while other systems just adapt to changes as they come. That's more like what mine is, I think. I think we just kind of adapt. I don't know if anything is, changeable. Not as far as I can tell, anyway. Maybe it is. I'll have to look more into that, actually, because I don't know if I created the chocolate swamp or not, but it is there. When new alters begin to front, if someone takes on a new role, or an alter goes dormant, it is very common for small changes in the inner world to occur. For us, their stuff disappears when they are not around. That makes sense. I think a lot of the times my system is a little bit more dormant. Like, a lot of others in my system generally, are very quiet, which that worries me a little bit, but at the same time, what can you do? Okay, this person describes is actually, oh, I get it. For us, there's just person not around. They're explaining their experience, so there's no confusion. I was confused for a second. Inside of their inner world, it's always the same temperature and rarely rains. Some inner worlds see a ton of rain or catastrophic events like floods or earthquakes. In those instances, the dramatic changes in weather in the inner world almost always a result of something traumatic. I can't talk. Traumatic occurring in the external world. That makes sense. Does anyone in the system have access to the inner world? Oh, does everyone? Not every alter has access to every part of the inner world, commonly known as the headspace. Often, long-term hosts can't access the headspace, and often certain alters only have access to certain parts of the inner world. See, that's interesting, because I don't have full-on access to it. I know what's there, and I've done lucid dreaming before, where I think I only had to work once, and I went through there, and it was really fun. Beyond that, I don't think I've ever had an experience with it, so that is real clarification right there. Some systems can control what others do by what they're allowed to access in the headspace. So DID others can sometimes be controlled with that stuff. That's neat. For many systems, some others have a difficult time entering the headspace, and some have a hard time leaving the headspace. Sorry, I was just kind of thinking about that for a second. Access inside the inner world is often based on role and access to memories and other functions of the body. It makes sense. Usually these accesses are also trauma-related or designed to prevent triggers. Okay, this is interesting. What is inside an inner world? I'm interested in this one. This also varies. Some systems live in the forest and forage inside their inner world. Some systems have elaborate mansions and pools with everything they could ever want. Some have trees and some have flashing lights. Some systems live in apartment buildings, and some all sit in one room and just don't have an inner world at all. Inner worlds can contain things the body actually possesses in the external world, or things that the body once had. Other things that the body does not own, or has never owned, may also be present. NPCs, or non-playable characters in the gaming world, which I know that bugs some people to use that term, but it is listed here, are common inside DID's inner world as well. Okay, so that was something I was worried about. I was thinking to myself, like, wait, and obviously I questioned myself a lot, like, is my diagnosis right? And clearly, looking at this, it is. I'm getting more and more clarification every day, which is nuts. But that right there kind of solidifies it, because there are NPCs. Well, I don't know if I like the term NPC. Let's just call them people, like non-system people, non-alters, like non-others, something like that. We'll come up with a name for it. But basically, there are people there, they just don't have the same level of interaction. In fact, they don't interact at all. They're just there. They're kind of space fillers, I guess you could call them, in a weird way. Others can either barely interact or not interact at all. This can also vary based on the other. That actually makes sense, because Lulu and Dominique run businesses in Love Lane, and Jazz, who I haven't talked about yet, works at a coffee shop. So it makes sense that there would be some kind of business. There would be people coming and buying things. I'm not sure why I questioned it that much. There is no list of what makes up an inner world or what an inner world must have. Much like the trauma that caused the need for inner world as an escape from parts, they are unique and cannot be standardized by a list of criteria. That's cool. Why does the inner world look like for our system? This is their explanation of what theirs looks like. They say that they have a fronting area, a waiting area, a forest, a field of wildflowers, the black space, the river, and the rows of houses. Some permanently occupied and some temporary spots. A long path and a big gorge extends outside the outside perimeter. So that's this person's system. And honestly, that sounds like a beautiful place. That's kind of neat. Honestly, I don't talk about my inner world on these kind of videos very often. I do individualized parts to the videos because, one, it's more content, and two, I just think it's more interesting to give each section of my inner world their own video. Even if it's not something I know much about, like Mermaid Beach didn't have a lot to say about it, the Chocolate Swamp I don't know much about, and there's going to be a few others I don't know much about either. But then you have these really big videos about, like, Love Lane, or you have, like, Starlight Plaza, where you're kind of just, like, I'm talking about a lot of things, and there's still a lot with Starlight Plaza I wanted to talk about, but I just couldn't figure out how to word it, or, like, where to go with it after I was talking. Because there's a lot to my inner world that I find very interesting. One thing I like about that article, though, is clarification on, what do I call them? I'll just call them, like, space fillers, I guess, because that's kind of what those people are. And as far as I'm aware, like, according to what I've been told, they don't really have faces. I'm not sure what exactly. I just heard, like, yeah, they don't have faces. We don't know who they are. Like, we just know that they have weird, jumbled up names, and, they're just there to be people. I don't think I've ever seen, like, on the times that I have kind of gotten a glimpse, I don't think I've ever seen one with a face. And I don't think any of my members of my system have either. But to them, it's totally normal. This is where they live. You know, these are just, and these people aren't like malicious or anything. They're just kind of living their best life. It's what they do. And I'm thinking about it more. My system is huge. Like my Innerworld's huge. Oh, that's gonna be a long-standing thing on my channel. I can tell. Especially considering they said it's malleable and you can kind of add more things to it. That's really interesting, actually. Because it's making me wonder, did I add certain things without realizing it, or did I intentionally add them and I forgot about it? I don't know. I feel like certain parts of my inner world I might have created when I was not sure about my disorder. So, maybe I did make certain parts of it. And that would explain a lot. But, it's really cool to kind of get a little bit of clarification that I'm not crazy and that I didn't just, like, think of this world and everything in it. It's, like, it's kind of like a mix, you know, like, I didn't come up with half of this. Like, I don't even know what I did create. Like, that's the hard part. How do you tell? You don't. Like, there's so little info. But it's my inner world. It's just how it is. Confusing like my brain. But anyway, that's all I got for this video. Sorry about that weird tangent at the end. I do like this kind of like straightforward, like, here's a list of all you need to know kind of deal. Because it's helping you guys, it's helping me. I'm learning along. I'm kind of learning along with you. So anyway, so I can stop going on tangents. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate stopping by. I always do. If you like what we do here, like, comment, subscribe, all that good kind of stuff. Helps us out a lot, especially with this algorithm. It is a mess. Remember, you're beautiful, you're valid, and you're important. That is very, very, very important to me and everyone up here. And I will see you in the next video that I make. So until then, goodbye.